And as we move on to the final speaker for this session, Captain Muzammil Chouhan serves as Chief of Staff and Chief of Flight Safety at Skywaltz Hot Air Balloon Safari and brings extensive experience in aviation safety, operational systems, and incident response management. Over the years, he has worked closely on developing safety-led operational frameworks and implementing structured SOPs for adventure aviation experiences in India. Today, he will speak on best practices, SOPs, and incident response frameworks in Indian adventure tourism. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Captain Muzammil Chouhan. I know there will be a lot of questions for all the people who are coming here as speakers, and we can all catch hold of them over lunch. Please, welcome.
Three seconds. That's all that we have as a pilot to look at our team, to look at the sky, and to look at the checklist and say, not today. Because that 3 second, it's when the lives of all those 24 passengers who are flying with us is decided. So at ATOAI, we are very much ambitious about growing to the numbers $683 billion and become the top 10 in the coming decade. But as we are growing at this pace, our safety standards have kept on being stagnated. And what is it about? Every season, we hear a name, a destination, and an accident that happened because someone didn't knew how to use this very basic equipment, didn't knew how much is the life of this equipment, what are the certification required. I'm not here to talk about ballooning today, but rather I'll talk about things that matter to each and every one of us in this room. This is a carabiner, I'm sure each and every one of you uses this. So, little bit about who we are, and it would really matter because we have achieved 100,000 passengers without a zero incident. And it all went down to one basic principle. I'll come to it. So what we do at Skywaltz is there are 5 basic principles. And this is very much associated with each and every operator in the room. The pre-flight protocols, 3 layers of signed checklist. And if we don't sign the checklist, we don't go on that day. The crew. Each and every person on our team knows exactly what are their roles, what are they accountable for. The guest clarity. We all have these kind of safety cards. We show it to our guests while they are busy on their phones. And we somehow try to cut our eyes and think that let's go over it really quickly and we don't have to face that embarrassment. But believe me, that's one guest can become the most unvariable thing in an incident. The emergency readiness. How often do we practice our ERP procedures? Does everyone actually know what are they supposed to do when there is an accident or an incident? And then the last one, the media and PR. I'll come to it in a while. So in aviation, we have a system called SMS framework, the safety management system. And it is very much applicable to all the operators. It comes down to the very four basic things called the safety policy and objective. As a founders, this is the statement that we make. This is our commitment to our industry and our guest of what we are going to provide. The safety risk management. Sir, may I ask, do we have the operators in this room who have identified what are the hazards? What can actually go wrong while we are doing this activity? How many of you have actually noted all the hazards that can go wrong in your activity? Can we raise hands who have done? Amazing. So, sir, for the rest, if we cannot name the hazards, it would become very difficult for us to find ways that we can mitigate the risk and find ways to overcome those hazards. The next one is safety assurance. About audits. How often do we audit the hazards and our equipments and everything? And the last one is safety promotion. Can every person on our team answer what will they do in the first 3 minutes of an accident or an emergency? Be it the cook, be it the driver, be it the guide, every single person. So the anatomy of safe flights, or be it any adventure activity, is about the checklist. Be it for the pilots, the crew, or the vehicle. I'll give you a very small example. 4:40 a.m. in the morning, the guide, the crew, the pilots, they're already up in their activity. There is a flat tire. The pilot is already taken off. The guests are in the balloon, and the retrieval vehicle has a flat tire and with a no backup tire. A very little safety overlooked without the checklist could lead to potential hazard for all the people flying in that balloon. So very basic things that we overlook by not reciting the checklist is so important. So 5 principles that the industry can learn from Skywaltz of what we do. Always customize the experience, never the safety. So we are flying across multiple destinations with multiple different teams, but the safety standards stays very much to the standards that have been set by the DGCA, by the authorities. Train everyone, the guides, the crew, the support staff, because that is one person who would be the most responsible for their place. Guest clarity. So guest needs to be briefed about the safety because that is the most prominent asset in a situation where we are facing an emergency. So write your ERPs beforehand, identify all the risk, the hazards, and emergencies that can happen during your operations. And media, I promise I'll come back to it. So whenever there is an accident or an incident, it's either us who will give facts and important information to the media, or rather they would fill in whatever they understand out of it. So it's very important to make them your active stakeholder, share the facts with them, and keep them very well aware of it. So I'll conclude on it that safety is not just a department, but rather it's an altitude that we carry with us. So to sum it, we always adopt, have checklists and SOPs for everything. We train every team members for the ERPs, and we report our incidents for the industry to learn out of it. Thank you. Thank you, Ajiji.